Welcome aspirants, welcome to SRIRAM IAS YT channel for this one PYQ a day series where we discuss one previous year question of UPSC Mains. It helps you in answer writing. It in a way prepare you about thinking about the issues, and that is why this is a very important series. Today is the day of geography, and today I'm going to talk about one previous year question which has appeared in 2021 GS paper 1 of geography. We will directly jump into our question, and that is, why is India considered as a subcontinent? Elaborate your answer. 150 words, 10 marker, as easy as it can gets by the look of the question. But many of the aspirants got it horribly wrong. Many of them still, those of you who are preparing, obviously, who write, who see, who observe these things, many a times we get these things fundamentally wrong at the understanding level itself. Read the question carefully again. Why is India considered as a subcontinent? Elaborate your answer. So there is, before I start writing the introduction, the body, the conclusion, exploring the core of the demand of the question, let us simply look into it from the point of view of what this question exactly entails. So we are not discussing about Indian subcontinent. We are not discussing about Indian subcontinent. We are discussing about India as a subcontinent. So there is a fundamental difference between the two. These are two very different things. If you see at the fine level, these are very different things. That is Indian subcontinent and India as a subcontinent. The questioner is asking why India is considered as a subcontinent. So they are asking this second part, that which I have written here, India as a subcontinent, not Indian subcontinent. Indian subcontinent is a term basically which distinguishes between the erstwhile Indian regions, which includes in the present day Bangladesh, present day Pakistan, present day India, Sri Lanka, for example, and India, the modern Indian country, state, nation. So these are two different, distinct words. Indian subcontinent simply is a geographical description of a region which was once called India. And India is obviously a modern country, modern republic, modern nation state, which we are a proud member of. So हमारा जो focus है वो India as a subcontinent पे रहेगा. Indian subcontinent was more of a pure geography specific question. It was primarily a geographic question, but this part is also heavily tilted towards the geography. It's not part of only Indian society. So remember always, many of you also get this wrong. The geography has multiple verticals. There is a physical geography, there is a social geography, there is a cultural geography, there is economic geography. There are a variety of verticals in geography as well. That is why this question will be classified under Indian geography, not Indian society. So now we have set the stage. So we will start addressing the demand of the question. We will start obviously with a introduction. Introduction, body, conclusion is a very nice way of addressing the demand of the question, depending on how much time you have left, because there is always paucity of time inside the mains examination hall, and the writing style that you have. There is no need to put always the introduction, body and conclusion format, but this is a very time tested format. So it's a good thing if you have time to go for it. Obviously, within the prescribed word limit. Never ever breach the word limit. That is the key rule in mains answer writing. They have mentioned it deliberately. You have to be very concise in writing answers. So now they are asking, why is India considered as a subcontinent? Elaborate your answer. They are asking you to simply tell the examiner that why do you consider that India is a subcontinent? The question mark is there. You may refuse to accept it, that India is not a subcontinent. You may go with the flow and say, yes, India is a subcontinent. So right now, I will prefer that, yes, India is a subcontinent. What is a continent, first of all? Continent is nothing but a large landmass which has huge geographical expanse. There are a lot many people living in that area, huge geographical diversity of physical landforms of all sorts, be it desert, be it river, be it coastal areas, be it great mountain ranges are present there. So we are discussing here that yes, India is a subcontinent. So India is a subcontinent. You can start while simply stating facts. Facts. You can start with stating facts. You can also choose a suitable quote to start with your answer, but generally facts will do fine. That India is what? Seventh largest country अगर हम area wise देखें. First, world's topmost after 2023 on the basis of the population. We have huge linguistic diversity. We have huge, you see, all sort of diversity that you can think of, be it climate, geographically, be it socially, culturally, linguistically, food choices are, everything are different. If you see, there are so many diversities present there. So definitely India is a subcontinent because of the scale, because of the size, because of the diversity, because of the expanse. So I will start this introduction by, because they're asking, elaborate your answer. They are asking a question. Do you consider India as a subcontinent or not? Why it is considered a subcontinent? So you will go and say these are the reasons that India is a subcontinent in the introduction with facts littered over the entire introduction of 2 to 3 lines. उसके बाद हम बिल्डअप करना शुरू करेंगे अपनी बॉडी में आंसर की और स्टार्ट करेंगे primarily with the boundaries. These boundaries are natural barriers which are there. These natural barriers or boundaries are there. Again, not Indian subcontinent, India as a subcontinent. तो इसमें हम थोड़ा सा लिबर्टी लेंगे and we will speak about the natural barriers that we have. Still we retain Himalaya as a natural barrier. Towards our north, we have a peninsula, a huge coastline, which is there, Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea, Indian Ocean is there, which gives us a distinct advantages also, and which gives us a separate area. इसको कहेंगे bounded geography. ये जो barriers हैं, natural barriers, they make India as a subcontinent. These are exactly what make India a subcontinent. These barriers. So we are, as I said, continent की definition में बताई. Subcontinent क्या होता है? Subcontinent is basically a self-contained part of the continent. उसको हम बोलेंगे subcontinent. So India is a subcontinent because of the natural barriers, the physical barriers which are there. On the east, you have massive jungles. On the India-Myanmar border, for example, in between India and Tibet, you have huge Himalayan ranges. In the south, you go huge natural barriers in the form of the coast is there. और फिर हम आगे जाएंगे और बात करेंगे. You can also talk about the geology here also. That Indian plate is a very distinct plate compared to Eurasian plate. The rest of Asia is basically under the Eurasian plate. अगर हम geologically बात करें, Indian plate is a distinct thing altogether, which was once part of the Gondwana plateau and which drifted millions of years ago south of the equator, and it merged, or it is still subducting under the Eurasian plate, thus creating the Himalayan mountain ranges. So geology also makes us a subcontinent. Then if you see historically, the major empires which have been there inside India, and they had always a conception of India as a separate political cultural entity. So be it Indus Valley civilization, be it the Satavahanas, or be it the Shungas, और उसके बाद Guptas, and then the tripartite struggle, उसमें जो important empires हैं जैसे Pratiharas or Palas or Rashtrakutas. Even then afterwards the Mughals and the Britishers, they, in a way, they were self-contained in these regions, this region called India. So that makes us subcontinent. Apart from it, if you see geographically also now, India is a subcontinent because variety of landforms, of physical landforms that are present there. We have mighty Himalayas, we have massive rivers, we have expansive plains of Ganga and Brahmaputra. Indus is no longer with us, but Ganga and Brahmaputra is still there. We have Thar Marusthals on the northwest side. We have the coastal plains on both of our coast. We have Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. We have massive island chain also. So that makes us what? A subcontinent. That makes us the subcontinent. The social, if you see, the social and demographic features. India is the largest country on planet by means of population. तो socially भी अगर हम देखें, linguistic diversity को हम देखें, religious diversity, races, caste, ethnicities, no, so many diversities are there which makes us a subcontinent. Europe is a continent, Asia is a continent. There are multiple countries in these continents who are distinctively, in a way different compared to others. So in European continent, you have France, which is very different compared to Germany or British. So in India also, there are huge diversities. Socially, we are very, very diverse. Culturally, if you see, these days, a important festival is ongoing inside the state of Bihar, Chhat Puja. It's a distinctively Bihari festival. Even though the worship of sun has been always been a tradition in the Vedic faith, but still you see that much diversity is there. Deepavali is celebrated all around the country for different reasons. For some, it is the return of SRIRAM from the Vanvas. For some, it is the celebration of goddess Kali. So there are many ways through which we are distinctively, different compared to each other, and that makes us a subcontinent. Demographically, also, you see, the largest country on this planet is India. Seventh largest area-wise, largest population-wise, which makes us a subcontinent. You can also talk about the political aspect here. So many political parties, political opinions. So अगर हम देखें ये सारी चीजें जो हैं इंडिया को एक सब कॉन्टिनेंट बनाती हैं. The availability of the raw material, you see, on one hand you have Chotanagpur Plateau, the entire belt, you have huge amounts of iron ore and coal. Some places in Rajasthan you get a lot of copper. Some places in the coastal areas you have something else entirely. So ये भी एक बहुत important factor. Economically also we are a subcontinent. There are diverse reasons. This is also a very important point. Economically also we are a subcontinent. This is also part of our economic geography. That you have the western belt, the coastal areas which are developed, high per capita income states. Contribution to the national exchequer is very huge revenue. And compared to, for example, the green revolution belt states, you have underdeveloped, relatively poor states where the human development index numbers are not that good. For example, the Bimaru states, so-called Bimaru states, or the Hindi heartland states. So that is also there. Economically also we are a subcontinent. Like in Europe, you have many developed countries and economies like who are doing very well. UK, France, Britain, France, Germany, and then you have Portugal or Spain or the PIGS country so-called. So that is also there. Economically also India is a subcontinent. So you look into the Indian landscape, the country of modern Republic of India, and by looking into it, you can say that we are a subcontinent because of all these factors. The more factors you will write, the better the answer would be, and more possibility that you will get higher marks. And now you will conclude with a suitable conclusion. Mind you, managing the word limit is very, very crucial. You can write an essay of 1500 words on this topic alone, but that's not the objective. That is not the demand of the question. Only write what they're asking you to write. They're asking you to write, justify why India is a subcontinent, justify that only within the word limit which they have mentioned. So conclusion, you will say that yes, India is a subcontinent, navigating the diversities, yet we are one. So Indian soul, you may say, is one, but the manifestation of that soul in a vivid way is still a feature which defines the modern contemporary India. That is how you will conclude the answer. You can also use, in a way, some interesting way forward type tone you can take, a futurely orientation वाला कोई एक यहाँ पे argument लिया जा सकता है. So depending on your writing style, you will go for the conclusion. It should not be more than 2 lines. In any case, by the time you are done with all these explanations, because the core here is elaboration, you will be very short of words. हाँ, कई बार ऐसा होता है हमारे पास टाइम नहीं है, many a times this also happens, then you will skip the introduction part. अगर paucity of time है, only write, in that case only write the important points which you have, you know, in a way prepared. उसके बाद just hope that after substantiation that you will get reasonable amount of marks here, but never leave any question unanswered. That is the also a fundamental rule in mains answer writing. So I hope all of you got the gist of the question and understood the demand, the nature of the question. Do not, in a way, try to write in a hurry. Always try to understand क्वेश्चन की डिमांड क्या है. उसके बाद जब लिखोगे तो जो डायरेक्शन है क्वेश्चन आंसर का वो बिल्कुल ठीक बैठेगा. अगर सोचे समझे बगैर, इफ यू हैव इन्वेस्टेड वेरी लिटिल टाइम इन थिंकिंग एंड स्टार्टेड राइटिंग, तो प्रॉब्लम होगी. This is my Telegram channel, so definitely join it to remain in contact. Thank you.